The brutal invasion of Ukraine continues. The bloodshed is cruel and ongoing. People are being displaced, families torn apart, communities terrorised, and the capital, Kyiv, is gripped by fear, with reports that Russian military are advancing on that city. Reports say the army are within 30 kilometres of Kyiv and missiles are raining down on the capital. The Ukraine president said that at least 137 of his citizens were killed yesterday on the first day of the invasion, with many more injured. But events are unfolding rapidly, and it's now just gone 9 a.m. in Ukraine as the country faces its second day under Russian attack. We'll keep you up to date with the latest developments and discuss the ramifications of this invasion tonight. There are reports that Russian troops have held workers hostage at the infamous town of Chernobyl, north of Kyiv, where the decommissioned nuclear power plant is kept under strict safety arrangements. Elsewhere, Russian soldiers have been on the ground guarding installations that they've already seized. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainians have jammed roads heading west to safer parts of the country and to the safe haven of crossing the border into Poland or Hungary. Others are sheltering underground in subway stations.
And we don't want to be a part of Russia or any other country. It's really getting very emotional. And I cannot believe it's happening, really. And I just hope that some people in Russia may see this and just stand against the Putin and the war.
That's modern Europe in 2022. Incredible, isn't it? Heart-wrenching. Already there have been innocents killed, civilians just taken out by shelling, and there have been reports of Ukraine soldiers refusing to surrender before suffering under Russian firepower. The pain here is incalculable. It's difficult to comprehend how this torment can be unfolding openly, uncontested in a military sense, by the rest of the world, in Europe, in 2022. The Ukrainian declaration of emergency means men are not allowed to leave the country. They must stay behind to fight and face an uncertain fate. Some are able to send their wives and children to safety. Missile, artillery and naval attacks have occurred across a vast range of the country, and there are reports that infiltrators are working to sabotage the government or possibly capture or kill senior officials in Kyiv. The terror continues as we speak.
Я не бачу. Ой, Боже.
In the US, President Joe Biden has condemned Russia and increased sanctions, but he's reaffirmed that US troops will not become involved.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences.
Yes, but only financial consequences, really. Our Prime Minister has announced tougher sanctions too, and he's criticised China for offering to buy more Russian wheat just when the rest of the world is trying to put economic pressure on Moscow.
You don't go and throw a lifeline to Russia in the middle of a period when they're invading another country. That is simply unacceptable from the reports that we have seen, and I would urge all nations to say this is not a time to be easing trade restrictions with Russia.
There have been protests in support of Ukraine right around the world, including these emotional gatherings in Australia, where people were calling for international help to protect Ukrainians and, of course, to preserve the nation's sovereignty. But if you want to find a glimmer of hope, an optimistic note of the spirit of humanity in the past 24 hours of horror, you can find it in Russia, of all places. Brave Russian protesters have turned out rallying against this war. In Moscow, in St. Petersburg and a range of other cities, hundreds have been arrested. standing up against their own corrupt and war-mongering government, putting themselves at considerable risk in order to protect the people of Ukraine. Yeah, if ever you need a demonstration that it's the governments, it's the leaders that are the problem, not the people of Russia, there you have it. But tragically, of course, no protests are dissuading Vladimir Putin for the moment. And the people of Ukraine have only just begun day 2 of what could be months, years, or even decades of subjugation.